ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. We have ourselves a series in these NBA Finals. As the show progresses today, as usual, I will revisit free agency, because when you're in these arenas, you hear so much talk, so much scuttlebutt about what's transpiring, what's anticipated to transpire. There is some information that I will divulge involving the New York Knicks, involving the Los Angeles Lakers, involving the Los Angeles Clippers, the usual suspects, no question about it. Plus, I'll be getting into a little bit about the Houston Rockets as well. Make no mistake about it, because there's some stuff going on there that I definitely think everybody has the right to know as it pertains to the coach, some of the players, owner Tillman Fertitta, along with others. So stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Number again to call up is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. But getting to the finals first, we have ourselves a series. We have ourselves a series, and I say that in a fashion that states the Golden State Warriors, the two-time reigning defending NBA champions, are officially in trouble. It's not because they lost a game last night, game one of the NBA Finals, 118-109, courtesy of a 32-point explosion from Pascal Siakam, my choice for most improved player of the year. He dropped 32 points. He had 14 of 17 shots. That's 82% from the field, ladies and gentlemen. He was absolutely sensational. Getting out on the open court, getting out on the break, driving to the basket with aggression, blocking shots. Pascal Siakam was pretty much doing it all. It was incredibly impressive, and he deserves an awful lot of credit for what he did. He had 2 blocks on the evening. Had 2 blocks. Hit 14 to 17 shots. 2 or 3 from three-point range as well. Had 5 rebounds, only 2 turnovers, and did all of that in nearly 40 minutes, 39 minutes and 44 seconds to be exact. But guess what? Despite his performance, despite that of Marc Gasol, who tripped in 20 points, despite Fred VanVleet coming off the bench to score 15 points, despite Kawhi Leonard looking as if he was on one leg, for crying out loud, still dropping 23 for the game, that's not the reason the Golden State Warriors are in trouble. The Golden State Warriors are in trouble because Andre Iguodala is not healthy. And when you look at the Golden State Warriors and the fact that Kevin Durant is already out, and it's presumed that he won't find himself in a situation where he'll be available at the very earliest before Game 4, if that might be pushing it. When you got Boogie Cousins, who returned last night after a 14-game absence from the postseason, courtesy of getting hurt in Game 2. Courtesy of getting hurt in Game 2 of the Western Conference first round. When you look at a guy like Andre Iguodala hurt, when you see Boogie Cousins, who just got back, when you look at Kevin Durant, who presumably will not be back, ladies and gentlemen, the Golden State Warriors may not have enough bodies. Kevon Looney, Quinn Cook, Alfonso McKenzie, people like that. I get Jerebko. I guess you can look for those guys to try and step up and make a contribution. But let's call it what it is. Against this Toronto Raptors team, filled with young thoroughbreds who don't mind getting physical, who have no problem running you up and down the floor, the reality is clear. The Golden State Warriors may not have the bodies necessary in order to win this series. I picked them to win the series, but I don't give a damn what people say about me being wrong. Listen, I never worry about my predictions when guys are healthy. I'm going to be right most of the time. Sometimes I'm going to be wrong. My record with the NBA Finals is not that impressive, by the way. But there's a whole bunch of things that happen. I remember years ago when Draymond Green got suspended in Game 5. I had the Warriors winning that series in 5. Draymond Green gets thrown to the floor like LeBron, kicks his feet up, and the NBA decides to give LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers the ultimate stimulus package. They suspend Draymond for Game 5. Bogut and Iguodala gets hurt in Game 5. As a result, they lose that game, and then obviously Game 6 and 7 because Bogut and Iguodala couldn't go. And Iguodala in Game 7 certainly wasn't healthy. So I look at it from that perspective. I look at how I picked Miami to beat to lose to San Antonio one year, and Ray Allen came and saved the day when I had San Antonio in 6. And they had the tape going around the arena, getting ready to celebrate at American Airlines Center or American Airlines Arena in Miami. So these kind of things happen. But you know what? When it comes to injuries, listen, everything goes out the window because you make these predictions based on health. Things happen during the game, and you understand that. But health and suspensions are not a part of the prognostications. You don't anticipate people going to get thrown out. You don't anticipate people going to get injured. And with the Golden State Warriors, that clearly appears to be the case, and as a result, this is the situation they now find themselves in. Down 1-0 in this series, in a world of trouble. In a world of trouble. Now, you got some people out there that think mere bag of shells, Golden State will be just fine. And by the way, I don't blame them because I'm not jumping off that bandwagon. I'm of the mindset that the Golden State Warriors can still win this series. I'm looking at the fact that last night, in the second half, despite not having their A game, despite Steph Curry being the only one who truly showed up, that the Golden State Warriors still were within 3 points, 6 points and 7 points on repeated occasions. Toronto wasn't pulling away from them. But when I saw Iguodala, I don't know whether it was the hamstring or the calf or whatever, I said, my God, I can't catch a break. You look at Jordan Bell, he started. You look at Kevon Looney, he can play. You look at Alfonso McKenzie, somebody I think that they should strongly consider giving more minutes to. And I don't mind Quinn Cook either. I just find myself looking at the Golden State Warriors and wondering how many bodies can they lose? It's one of those situations where a dynasty is coming to an end, and you know when you can see it, it's usually for health reasons. Certain dudes just ain't what they used to be, health-wise. They're just dragging and lagging just a little bit. You just see stuff like that, and it drives you absolutely nuts. That's what I'm witnessing from the Golden State Warriors. But let me tell you something. Game 2 is going to tell me a lot. Game 2 is going to tell me a lot. Andre Iguodala went up for a regular jump hook and scored over Kawhi, over Gasol, and then came up holding that left leg and slapping his hands because we know what that's about. I'm hopeful it was a cramp, but I don't think that's what it was. I think he knows he's hobbled. He knows he can't go. Last year they go against the Houston Rockets in the Western Conference Finals. Everybody's talking about Chris Paul. Chris Paul's not 100%. Chris Paul's not healthy, I'm sorry. He goes down in Game 5, can't go in Game 6 or 7 because of that hamstring. Oh, my goodness. Well, you know what? Houston should have still beat the Golden State Warriors, or Golden State, if it were not for Chris Paul, they would have gone to the NBA Finals, the Houston Rockets, and they would have won a championship. Let me tell you something. If Andre Iguodala wasn't hurt, Houston, that series last year wouldn't have went past 6. Andre Iguodala would have played. I'm telling you right now, Houston wouldn't have taken Golden State 7 games last year. It wouldn't have happened. And oh, by the way, if Kevin Durant hadn't gotten hurt, it would have ended in 6 anyway this year. And if Kevin Durant was here right now, healthy, I got news for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. It wouldn't be a series. Y'all can slice any way y'all want to. I know that the Toronto Raptors could play. I know they're a stout defense. I know they are no joke. They are a team to be reckoned with. But I assure you, if Kevin Durant were healthy, Golden State would have this series wrapped up in 5 games. 5. I won't disrespect Toronto by saying I wouldn't give them 1 game, but that's about it. Right here at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Canada, Golden State would be celebrating a 3-peat. It'd be a wrap. But now, that's all in jeopardy. And clearly, this is the end of the Warriors as we knew it. I can't imagine the Warriors bringing back Livingston after this year. I can't imagine them bringing back Iguodala after this year, even though when healthy, he can really defend and he's really big time. We all surmise and assume Kevin Durant is going to be gone, that he's going to go to New York. You got some people saying Brooklyn. I'm still going to contend it's the Knicks. But I tell you something right now. You want me to tell you what this entire discussion should put to bed? Want me to tell you what this should put to bed? This notion. This ridiculous, idiotic, asinine, blasphemous notion that the Golden State Warriors are a better team without Kevin Durant. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no team on this earth that has Kevin Durant that's better off without him. He's that surreal. He's that great. He's that phenomenal. Y'all need to wake up and slap yourself for even dreaming something that nonsensical. Kevin Durant is that big time. And Kevin Durant is of the mindset and the situation. I'm here to tell you something right now. I'm sure he wants to come back. I would love to see Kevin Durant come to the rescue and walk back on the court after all this blathering about what they're supposed to be without him and remind the world just the hell who he is. You know who he is. Y'all know who he is. I would love for him to do that. It remains to be seen whether or not he's somebody that's going to be able to do that. Because that calf injury, they say, usually takes 3 to 6 weeks. It's usually about 5 to 6 weeks. This is week 3. Next week, by game 4, it'll be 4 weeks. Usually you need an additional 2 more weeks, but he doesn't have those 2 weeks. He doesn't have it. And so now we find ourselves in a situation where we got to wonder about what Golden State's going to be. We got to wonder whether or not there's going to be an elevated level of appreciation for him now that they're going to struggle without him, assuming they do. You never know what kind of impact that could have on Kevin Durant's psyche, his willingness to stay, because the appreciation will be undeniable. All of those things are things to be considered. Now, you know me. I'm unapologetic about what my hope and dreams are. I want the man to come to New York City. I don't want them to lose him by any stretch of the imagination. He's everything. And I'm here to tell you right now, in the end, what this comes down to, more so than anything else, is that Kevin Durant is all world, that the Warriors are not who we thought they were without him, or not who y'all thought they were without him, because I certainly never had that problem. And now it's a situation where Kevin Durant, where do you go from here? And that brings me to my next topic of discussion as it involves Kevin Durant, because let me tell you something right now. You hear so many different things. You really, really do. Here's one of the things you hear. Number one, Kevin Durant's going to New York. They'll give him the world. Whatever he wants, the coach he wants. He'll have an avenue if he wants one. Obviously, Dolan will do everything he can to help make him a billionaire. He'll take care of his people, whatever Kevin Durant wants. If Kevin Durant wants a pedicure and a massage every day, he'll have it. Here in Canada, in Toronto, they got Kawhi and Dine, where you got free meals going on every day. Kawhi Leonard, he could have free food for life if he stays in Canada. Let me ask you a question. You think somebody going to charge KD for food if KD come to New York City? Do you think that KD will have to pay for a Broadway ticket? You think that if KD wanted to ring the bell on Wall Street, do you think somebody going to tell him no? You think if KD went into a hookah bar or a restaurant or any place, you really think he's going to have to pay? See, New York, you don't have to advertise that you get free stuff. You just give it to you. Let me put myself on Front Street. Ladies and gentlemen, I get stuff for free. And I'm just Stephen A. I mean, Stephen A is very, very significant, if I should say so myself. I mean, it's not like I'm a nobody. But I ain't Kevin Durant. That brother ain't going to have to pay for anything. The jet, look, here's what makes me laugh. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, do y'all understand that James Dolan made the private jet available to pick up from home and take back home after every game Tyson Chandler? Tyson Chandler played for the New York Knicks and had access to the private jet for very good reason, by the way. Let me take the smile off my face. His mother was suffering from cancer, and obviously he wanted to spend every waking moment he could with her. And James Dolan was kind enough, because he does have that in his history. He's actually a very kind man to a lot of people. And he had the jet take Tyson Chandler, pick Tyson Chandler up from his mama's home in L.A., take him to a game on game nights to play, and then take him right back to his mama in L.A. for an entire season. That's what Tyson Chandler had done for him by James Dolan in Mike Woodson's last season as head coach of the New York Knicks. That's how phenomenal that was on the part of James Dolan. I only bring that up to say this. James Dolan did that for Tyson Chandler. What do you think he's going to do for Kevin Durant? He'll do anything the man wants. Anything. If he comes to New York. And oh, by the way, it's Kevin Durant that's going to decide who comes with him. Kyrie, Kemba, etc. You hear Kyrie, but you're also hearing that Kyrie wants to strongly consider Brooklyn. Brooklyn obviously thinks they got a shot at both. The Clippers obviously think they got a shot at Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. LeBron and the Lakers are trying to get their hands on a Kawhi or a Kyrie, with a third wheel potentially being a Jimmy Butler if those first two options fall through. So these are all the things that are going on in free agency. And the reason why you don't have people talking about Kawhi is because Kawhi has nothing to say, A, and B, he only cares about one or two places. Staying in Toronto or going to the Los Angeles Clippers, according to numerous NBA insiders who speak to his uncle, because they damn sure ain't getting nothing from Kawhi. You ain't getting nothing from Kawhi but a high and by. That cyborg mentality that Charles Barkley says he has is absolutely positively recognizable. It is what it is. Tyson, Kawhi Leonard has nothing to say to anybody about anything. Serge Ibaka on his podcast or his dining show or whatever the hell it was couldn't even get Kawhi Leonard to talk about it. It's not what he does. And oh, by the way, I've heard KD has adopted the same mentality. KD has people close to him. He will walk away from them, from what I hear, the second anybody brings up him in free agency. He ain't talking about it. And by the way, I don't blame him. I could be interviewing KD right now, and I wouldn't ask him about free agency. Because I know that comes July. I'm not going to ask him about it during the NBA Finals and disrespect him and compromise him and put him in that kind of position where he's talking about that while he's playing for the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. If the Finals were over, that would be different. But to talk about that during the Finals, that's just disrespectful and troublemaking, and that's not something I'm going to do if I were to interview him. So let's just be clear about that. But make no mistake about it, understand what's going on. Kevin Durant has free agency in the palm of his hands, particularly if he comes back during these NBA Finals and shows out in any way. Kevin Durant has it in the palm of his hands. A, Kevin Durant could go to New York with Kyrie to the Knicks. B, he could choose to go to Brooklyn with Kyrie. C, he could choose to go to the Clippers with Kawhi. Hell, if he wanted to, he could go to the Lakers with LeBron, even though that ain't happening. This is what is going on with KD. In the palm of his hands. There's no suspense with Kawhi in everybody's eyes because it's either Toronto or go to the Clippers. The suspense evolves around KD, not just because of where he may go, but who he may join. Do you understand that KD can elect to join Kyrie, Kawhi, or LeBron? And wherever he goes, automatically shifts the balance of power. If he joins Kyrie in New York, they have the power in the East. If he joins Kawhi with the Clippers, he has the power in the West. Or if he joined LeBron in L.A. with the Lakers, he got the power in the West. That's the situation that KD has in the palm of his hands. Why should he say anything and eradicate and omit the suspense of it all? Why should he do that? Well, all he needs to do is chill, shut the hell up until he makes his decision, while everybody else banters back and forth about what he might do. I don't blame him one bit. Not one single bit. The more headlines he grabs, the more attention he grabs, the more he's able to monetize that to his profitability. I can't hate on that, ladies and gentlemen. Not one bit. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That was Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart. Coming up, I'm going to get a little bit into, actually a lot into the situation going on in Houston. In case you missed the news, Mike D'Antoni had his agent call the Houston Rockets refusing to accept their offer of a new deal. And as a result, he's going to play out the last year of his contract while Daryl Morey, the general manager extraordinaire, spends his time on the phone trying to reshape this roster. Apparently, change is a-coming to H-Town, Houston. Should it? Is it the wise thing to do? We'll discuss that and more in just a minute. You're listening live to Stephen A. right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News.